let me do this. Let me give you some things over the next 40 minutes, and I think this is going to help a lot. So the first thing that we see, leadership is found in nature. I want to give you 2 examples. Actually, I want to give you 3. The first example is an example of the eagle. One is 2 things that we understand from the eagle that really begin to help us to ascertain how it is an animal which demonstrates and symbolizes leadership. Now remember we said leadership, the 3 core qualities: vision, will, wisdom. The eagle, as you know, flies high above other animals, fly high above other birds. It literally has the ability to see, I don't want to exaggerate here, but I know it can see over a mile. Sometimes you've even heard people say the eagle eye, which means they have very keen vision. The eagle has a high ability to see things, even the smallest animal, from a mile away, because that's how they swoop down. So we get a sense of vision from the eagle. 2 other characteristics that we understand about the eagle that is really says something about who we are as leaders and what leadership is that eagles are born in isolation. When I say born, I don't mean originally born. I mean their rebirth comes in isolation. Now I don't know if you're familiar with this, but an eagle is, you said what?
I said they're way up in the mountains when they do their thing.
Okay, well that's one of the things. But not only do they nest in the mountains, what also happens is that there's a period at about 28 or 29 years old that the eagle actually goes to the side of the mountain and begins to break off its beak. It begins to pull out its own talons. Why does it do this? Because if it does not do this, it will not rejuvenate. It is a period where it looks like the eagle is about to die. It is putting itself in this painful process, but that process is what allows it to live longer than pretty much any other bird that we have. And so it's almost symbolic of what leaders have to do, that leadership is often born in times of isolation. It is born in the hard times. It is born in the difficult times. And the eagle shows that and symbolizes that. The second thing about the eagle that is highly important to know is that the eagle does not just fly in storms and fly, as they say, above the storm. But what an eagle does is actually uses the storm to fly higher. Whereas other birds will get caught in the storm or will try to find their way around it, the storm actually allows the eagle to fly higher. It gives it its lift on the wings to go higher than what it is. That is the example of leadership. The ability, remember I gave the quote to you yesterday from Rahm Emanuel, never let a crisis go to waste. The ability to, even in failure, to use things that would destroy other people and go higher. Second example, the lion. The lion is not the fastest animal in the jungle. We've already explained that. It is not the strongest. It is not the most intelligent. An elephant, for instance, is far more intelligent. They say it's 80 times more intelligent, 50 times bigger, in some cases 100 times bigger. But yet, it is the lion which is the king of the jungle. Why? Because the lion believes.
Believe that he's the king of the jungle.
It believes in itself that it has the ability to take on animals that are larger, faster, and in some cases stronger and more powerful and more intelligent. Because the lion believes itself to be, that becomes what we call a self-perpetuating perception. Whereas what you see of yourself, other people will begin to see you as well. So those are characteristics of leadership from the eagle and from the lion. Now I want to give you another example, because I always try to give you both sides of the coin. Sheep. And sheep do not have the ability, they don't have a leader. That's why, unlike every other animal, which is an animal, dogs are led by the alpha dog. Wolves are led by, well, it's the same thing, the alpha wolf. Lions are led by the head lion. Even gorillas, when they study the gorillas and the apes, it is led by a gorilla or ape. It is only the sheep that is led by a person, a shepherd. Because the sheep does not have it within its capacity to lead. So this says something about it. It helps you to understand that perhaps it is capacity as much as any other characteristic that makes a leader a leader. Do you have the capacity to lead? Well, I think the answer is evident. All of us have within us the capacity to lead, but perhaps we have not been in situations and circumstances which have allowed us to unlock that. Because remember, at the core of it, leadership is unlocking the greatness on the inside. Oftentimes we use the word that an opportunist, we use that in a negative connotation. But I don't think there's anything wrong with being an opportunist. I think you can be an opportunist and be loyal. You can be an opportunist and be a great friend. Opportunist at the core of it, the connotation may be negative, but the denotation, the word itself means the ability to understand an opportunity.
Yes. So leadership is about
seizing opportunities. It's the ability at the core of it to be able to recognize an opportunity and to be able to seize on it. I don't know if you've ever seen some of those, they have these, they call them brain teasers or eye teasers, where you'll look at something where they'll say, what do you see? Do you see the woman? I know it's a famous one like that. It's a picture of a woman, and it's a picture of a young woman and an old woman. And depending on your perspective, you may or may not see what's in that picture. Now, this is the interesting thing. You have maybe 3 people, 4 people, 20 people who are looking at the same picture. One see the old woman, one see the young woman. The picture is the same. It's what you see in it. And that is really symbolic of life. That you can have people go through the same experience. One person sees the opportunity, another person sees the obstacle. One person sees the potential, another person sees the problem. One of my favorite Charles Dickens books, it starts with, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. How could it be both? Oftentimes it is. That there's 2 sides of the coin. And leaders are able to see, you know what, this might be the worst time to do something and it might be the best time. Did you know that 50% of the companies that are on the Dow Jones started in a recession? Why is that important for you to know? One person looks and says, it's the worst time to start a business. Why? It's a reception. It's a recession. This is the time when people don't really have money. This is the time where I don't really think I can afford to spend money in order to start this company. Another person looks at it another way. This is the best time to start it. This is the time that I cannot afford not to start the company. Because there is an opportunity here for me to seize that perhaps I could not seize otherwise. This is a proven fact. Time and time again, the best-selling books in America are stories about drug addiction, crises, and some type of loss. Some type of catastrophic loss. So one person might look at your story and say, oh my gosh, that, I would never want to go through it. Another person looks and says, you need to market that story because people are going to love it. But it's all about how do you see it. Opportunity, I want you to know this, comes from the word opportunus. It's a Latin word which means at or before the port. At or before the port. When you know, a ship goes into the harbor, it goes to a port. So literally what opportunity means is that opportunity is something that puts you at the port of success. It puts you at the door of success. Opportunity in itself means nothing if you don't seize it. And so sometimes what happens is people are at a place where there is potential, but because they don't see it, nothing changes. They're the people that are at home saying, I had that idea before. But it doesn't matter whether you had the idea. Did you seize the opportunity to enact it?
Did you seize the moment?
Did you seize the moment? Leadership is about seizing opportunity. They have a keen understanding, and this brings me to my next point. Leaders understand timing. Leaders understand timing. They understand that this moment may never come again. I do believe that there is a saying that says, as above, so below. There are seasons. Think about this. And we often just gloss over this. In the natural, there are seasons. This goes back to how leadership is found in nature. It's not just in animals, it's in nature itself. There are seasons where you can plant, and seasons where you can plant but you won't receive anything. You look at a farmer. The farmer plants at a certain season because he understands that that season is the opportune time in order to reap the harvest at the moment. When you look at this cosmos and the galaxies, there are certain moments and times where, and I'm not talking superstition here, but it's actual fact, that there are certain times where the earth is in certain places in its lunar round. So if the cosmos has seasons and the earth has seasons, why do we not think that our lives have seasons? There are moments where you can, sometimes that there are moments, I'm telling you, in your life, everything you touch is going to turn to gold. Everything you touch, you're there. But the question is, do you see this? And so leaders understand timing. I see your hand, let me just say this real quick. Leaders understand timing, not just for personal timing, but they understand the mood of what's happening. When Barack Obama, I remember when he was running for the presidency in 2006, when it came talk that this freshman senator was perhaps going to run for the presidency, people said, you know, you should wait. You should wait your time. He understood opportunity. This is my moment. This may never happen again. It may never happen. And for those who follow politics at the time, it was a rare moment when there was no president or vice president on the ticket. Because George Bush was the president. He wasn't running again. He already had 2 terms. The vice president, Dick Cheney, was not running. So on both sides was a free-for-all. He understood that there was this moment that there were people who felt the way about the war in Iraq, there were people who felt the way about the economy, and he understood this is a moment that may never happen again. For better or for worse, Donald Trump understood the same thing. Some of the same people that were glad to see Obama in said, well, you know, we voted for him and we didn't get what we wanted. Let's go even more radical. He understood this may not happen again. 20 years from now might not happen. I might be more seasoned and more experienced, but my moment may have passed. And leaders have this keen understanding of what's happening in the world. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates understood that this is the moment to put this out into the market. When I traveled to Korea, I remember they showed us some technology. We went to the headquarters of Sony, because the headquarters of, Samsung. Samsung is a Korean family. And the headquarters of Samsung is in Seoul, Korea. And it is amazing, the technology that they showed us. And they showed us all of these rooms. They showed us 3 big rooms. The first room they took us through technology from the all the way from like the 20s to the 30s. It was almost like a showroom for, if you can imagine, for cars, but it wasn't. It was showing all these things that were created in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. They came out 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way up to 2010. Then they took us into this other room. The next room was the present, and they showed us all of the neat things that was in place at the time. This is when iPods were, the iPhone was really taking off, and they had its kind of a mirror type or replication in Korea. Then they took us into another room, past, present, and then future. And it was all these things, not just that they were working on, but that they had created, but they had not released. And I remember they told us something that just baffled me. They said, you know, we had the technology to do the Skype and the video calling in the 1980s. Mm-hmm. We did not release it until the late 90s. Mm-hmm. I said, well, why? They said, timing. People thought it was too intrusive. People were not there yet. We weren't that far away from the cell phones, where the cell phones was this big. And so what they said was they did focus groups, they did research, and they found people were not ready. That even though the technology was there, the timing and atmosphere and mindset of the people was not there yet. So what they decided was they would hold the technology. They used it in military, statecraft. They used it in security, certain security realms, but they decided that the public was not ready. And that got me thinking about something. Sometimes, I see your hands, but let me just, sometimes it's not the technology that makes the difference, it's the timing. Because they have it. If you watch the movie with Will Smith, one of my favorite movies, Enemy of the State, that technology had been around for a long time. What made the movie so spectacular and groundbreaking was because now you and I are getting introduced to things that were already in existence. But it was because people were not ready to receive it. And leaders have this understanding where they understand it is not ultimately the product that makes the difference. It is not maybe even so much the intelligence behind it. What makes the difference is the timing. Because with the right timing, people are ready. I saw some hands, we'll go to you and then